Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. We have a ton to talk about today. The PGA and LIV are merging. Trae Young scrubs his Twitter account. We got a good just stop tweeting, but we're going to start off with the Braves' big win over the Mets yesterday. And this one was a June game against a division rival, but it had a very September, October feel to it the entire game, starting with Pete Alonso hitting a 2-run homer off Bryce Elder, saying throw it again, mocking the MLB's ERA leader, still MLB's ERA leader. I actually thought Bryce Elder pitched pretty well despite the 2 homers he gave up. Then the Braves come back. Tyler Matzek, who is on the IL, obviously saw or got word of something that Pete Alonso said. He starts mouthing, throw it again as Carlos Carrasco is leaving the mound. The Braves tie up the game. The Braves go on to win the game. It just feels like the Mets never learn. They have a 10-game lead in the division. I'm not saying they were talking, but like in the dugout, they had to be confident, like, oh, there's no way we blow this. But they blow the 10-game lead in the division. They get a 3-run lead in the third inning with Carlos Carrasco, probably their worst pitcher in their rotation, on the mound. And they start talking again. They start chirping, even though they're 5.5-game leads, and it comes back to bite them. And the Mets seem to do something every year where you're like, little brother, and you can just mock them for it the entire year. And it just gives you this card to play. And this just felt like that moment, even though it's June, early in the season.
Yeah, I'm just glad the game got started. Delayed like 2 hours. It was so frustrating. It was a really weird weather situation. I'm glad they at least got it played. But yeah, it was definitely a fun game. It was just about as entertaining as you can get for early season baseball.
Yeah, I can't say anything that you guys already haven't said, other than I gotta just address the Pete Alonso situation. I've seen it a lot on social media about how Mets fans are calling Braves fans hypocritical. And I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I just got to say this. It's not that Pete Alonso was talking trash. In fact, I love it. I think it adds to the rivalry. It's good for baseball. Baseball isn't exactly, exciting in the regular season. So anything that makes it more exciting, I'm all for. What it has to do with is how dorky Pete Alonso is. He's such a dork. When Ronald Acuna does it, it's effortless. He doesn't have to try. I said it on Twitter that Pete Alonso, it looks like he's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Now, listen, if Edwin Diaz did something like that, like he strikes out the side and then does something, it sucks to watch it, but I'm all for it. Edwin Diaz is swaggy. For instance, I would even say Francisco Lindor. He would never do that. He's a great guy, stand-up guy, all those things buttoned up. But if he did something like that, I wouldn't have gotten that mad. It's just the fact that Pete Alonso's dorky butt is doing this stuff. It's so annoying to see. And I know for a fact that the people in that dugout were so cringe. It was so cringe looking. I know down the dugout, people were looking at it. I'm like, dude, come on. You're yelling from the dugout? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can call anyone a dork with this bucket hat on my head. But I agree with you. And I actually tweeted out, I said, this is actually the most normal or coolest thing Pete Alonso's ever done, because I actually I like the talking crap. I thought it was normal. If there was ever a moment where I was like, okay, yeah, maybe you could have said it rounding third, but that doesn't really happen. Most of the dugouts, it usually happens in the dugout. And he got caught on camera. You don't think that happens every time a guy hits a big homer. So
hang on, caught on camera. He looked at the camera and then went and said it.
I don't think he really did that. You'd have to go back and look at it, but I don't think he did.
He definitely did.
Regardless, it doesn't it was one of the more normal things he's ever done. Compared to humping the railing after a go-ahead run and him deadlifting and meditating in between the home run derby, this is the most normal version of Pete Alonso we've ever seen. So I didn't have a problem with it, but yeah, the guy is a dork, and anyone comparing him to Acuna is just fooling themselves. Mets fans can't even lie to themselves and say they don't want Ronald Acuna on their team. They don't think he's swaggy. I actually see a few normal Mets fans that aren't completely delusional and can't lie to themselves, say dang, I hate the Braves, but Ronald Acuna is my favorite player in the league, because he is a superstar. He is swaggy. He does bring excitement to the game. He's what are 10-year-olds in New York are wearing Ronald Acuna jerseys, and their parents are so disappointed because you don't see there's not a single little boy in Atlanta wearing a Pete Alonso jersey. There's not one. They don't have them. They don't exist. They don't get sold down here. If you looked at the distribution of Pete Alonso jerseys, they're in Queens, New York, and nobody else, and nowhere else. It's just the guy is a dork, and I can even say that with a bucket hat on and feel confident about it because he makes this look normal.
I said, Pete Alonso just never had a chance with me. Like, number one, yes, I think he's a cornball. But number two, he went to the University of Florida, which, I go to UGA, and he plays for the Mets. Like, I've never had a chance. This guy's never had a chance with me. At any stop in his life.
Yeah, I compared. Somebody was trying to compare it to Ronald Acuna, and just to reinforce what Chase was saying is these kids all across the country are going around ballparks, little kids imitating Ronald Acuna Jr. Nobody's imitating or impersonating Pete Alonso. Nobody's like, I want to grow up to be Pete Alonso. Nobody says that. It's like the old Cleveland joke from Joakim Noah. Like, nobody ever talks about going to Cleveland on vacation. Nobody talks about being Pete Alonso when they grow up. They're doing Ronald Acuna's. They're jumping. They're thumping their chest. That's who they want to be because it's effortless. You can see it with Ronald Acuna. He just does it. He just acts where it feels like Pete Alonso is not doing it just for himself. He's kind of doing it for laughs almost. He's doing it like, yeah, hey guys, look at this. Look at this. That's what it feels like. It just feels so forced. And it feels like I've got secondhand embarrassment watching him.
Well, let's talk about the game a little more. Bryce Elder gives up 4 runs, basically only gives up 2 mistakes, though. I actually thought this was one of the better or best games Bryce Elder's pitched. I mean, his swing and miss stuff was incredible. I think he had 7 strikeouts, almost tied a career high. He was really, really good. He just made 2 mistakes to the 2 best hitters in the lineup, and they made him pay. And that's something that just hasn't really happened. I think every pitcher, even when they're really good, makes a couple mistakes. A lot of the times, hitters just miss them because baseball is hard. It's still hard to hit an 85-mile-per-hour slider, even if it's hanging out of the ballpark. They get under it. They made him pay. I thought he pitched great. He settled down. He gave the Braves a chance to win. And then in the 6th inning, after his last pitch, the Braves bats woke up. Austin Riley, I was told he can't hit out of the 3-hole. Incredible that he's now – I mean, the guy has like 1,000 OPS since hitting out of the 3-hole, and people still want to say, oh, but look at his career numbers. Nah, man, it has nothing to do with that. It's just sample size. Sean Murphy comes up with a big hit. Feels like he's kind of been not necessarily slumping, but
kind of quiet.
Yeah, kind of quiet. Huge hit for him. I called it a get-right hit. And then the Big Bear, man. He's been the best hitter on the team. He's been the best hitter on the team since the month of May. He has an over 1,000 OPS since May. I mean, the guy is unreal. I mean, he gets benched, comes back, has the biggest hit of the game. And it's just like, it's so good to see because of all the haters and all the people that were just happy to see him fail, even Braves fans. And now he's back. And now you kind of see those Braves fans turn around because I'm pretty sure he has, if he doesn't have an 800 OPS, it's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah, I think it's like there's something. Well, I know I say there's something. People hate when Marcell Ozuna beats their team. Like it's very funny to watch the reactions. Like, this guy should be in jail. Like why is this guy even still in the field? Like, it just makes it fun. It's funny to me at this point. But
yeah, Chase, you're not taking a big enough victory lap. And I know this isn't like some big I told you so, but you said it. Maybe it's been close to a month, maybe 3 weeks, where you said, I don't know what it is, but Austin Riley starts every year slow. And then when it starts to heat up, he heats up. When the summer months start coming around, Austin Riley's starting to come around. And that's exactly what's happened. I mean, and I will even say some of his outs look like, at least he's barreling these balls. And there's
that
just
one he hit, I think, in the 9th or 8th, maybe. It was like a 115-mile-per-hour line drive the other way. So he's starting to get hot, and I could take a lot of victory laps. I'm not going to lie, this year has been one of my best years in terms of giving out takes, but it's really not that hard. Some of these are very simple. People just overreact. The bullpen, I told people not to worry about. When's the last time they gave up a run?
It's been like I saw somebody say 16 or 17 straight innings now.
AJ Minter starting to look a lot more like himself. Jesse Chavez. I mean, the guy should be in a men's league. He might. And I saw someone comment on a tweet that I said he might have a 5 ERA in a men's league, but in a Braves uniform, the guy is just unhittable. Austin Riley makes an error. You're like, oh crap! It's a 1-run game. Like that could come back to bite us. Very next play, double play. Eddie Rosario starting to heat up. This team feels like, and you get a couple big come from behind wins against 2 teams, especially a division rival. It kind of feels like they're starting to come together. And if Michael Harris can get going, it feels like it could be the start of where they really take advantage of the division.
Yeah, it feels like Ozzy too. It's like Ozzy's just going to give us a week where he hits 200, and then the next week he's going to have 3 home runs, and I can live with that.
Yeah, I mean, he has 3 homers in his last 5 games, I think Ozzy has. So it's really just I wrote an article. It's going to be up on the site. Go visit. It's going to be up. It might be up there by the time this airs. But I really graded the first 60 games of the season. And when you look at all the things that are truly bad, the only really bad thing, and I hate to single him out, has been Michael Harris. And if there's one guy on this team, I know like he doesn't have a track record like someone. He's going to figure it out. Like it's going to happen.
From what everybody's all said about him, he's this super talent rich kid. They talk about him in the same breath, talent wise, as Ronald Acuna Jr. And this past week, he's hitting the ball hard. He's just not finding. He's just hitting it to guys. I am worried about him because there's been some very uncompetitive at bats. But when he is hitting the ball, he's hitting it hard.
Well, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the huge breaking news from yesterday. LIV Golf and the PGA Tour merged together.